Welcome to CSGuitars, the science of loud. In a previous video we took a look at this Harley Benton Jazzmaster kit, put it together, performed a few modifications, and I asked what kind of weird and wonderful finish you'd like to see on this guitar. There were a great many suggestions, some good, most terrible, but I've arrived at my conclusion. The two colour schemes that seemed to crop up most often were either purple or some kind of yellow amber, and as it was pointed out to me, a cheap guitar kit is the perfect opportunity to do something a little bit outlandish. So I've skinned a couple of muppets, and we're going to get some brightly coloured fur to give this the fuzziest finish a guitar has ever had. This project is designed to inspire you to take part in Thomann's DIY Kit Challenge, the details of which you can find on this webpage linked in the video's description. Thomann are encouraging everyone to get creative and build their own instrument, using one of the excellent Harley Benton kits as a foundation. There are a number of guitar and bass kits to choose from, and all you have to do is decorate and finish it in a fun and unique way, just like I'm doing, to be in with a chance of winning up to €500 of store credit. Even if competition isn't your thing, these kits are excellent value for money and a wonderful starting point for getting into guitar maintenance, modifications and all things luthiery. I'd highly recommend grabbing one just to mess around with. Even if it doesn't result in the best guitar ever, you'll learn a lot about the mechanics of the instrument and the kind of work involved in making them function. The first thing to be addressed from the previous video was including a ground wire to the bridge. I've got this long 8mm drill bit specifically for this purpose, and I'm drilling a channel to connect the vibrato route to the control cavity. We'll run a wire between those later. I've also lined the control cavity with copper foil, creating an electric shield. When connected to ground, this will carry away outside electric fields and prevent them from interfering with the signal wires within. Here I'm using fabric glue, which should bond the fur fabric to the wood. One piece of advice I have if you plan to do this yourself is to fully sand the guitar body before applying the glue. As it turns out, the grain sealer that's been applied to the body from factory doesn't like to bond to the glue. Sanding it back to expose the wood provides a solid connection between the two materials. Initially, I was going to implement a two-tone design using both the yellow and purple fur, but once I realised how finicky this was going to be, a single colour seemed like a much more achievable goal in my time limit. A sharp blade was able to slice through the fabric and expose all of the cavities, neck pocket, and bridge posts. Here is a tool that I never thought I'd be using in a guitar project. The hair clippers help trim down the fur around the vibrato cavity. This needed to be cut back far enough to prevent the long hair interfering with the vibrato mechanism. I also needed a bradawl to locate the screw holes and punch through the fabric, allowing the screws to pass through without twisting the fabric away from the wood. And finally, some grooming to get the fur sitting in the correct direction and conform to the body shape below. This is the first time I've needed to use my Tangle Teaser brush in quite a while. Well, I might have ended up getting covered in Gritty's pubes in the process, but at least the guitar looks pretty good. It's got a Billy Gibbons vibe to it. I perhaps could have given it a bit more of a trim in places, but I quite like that long, wild hair look. The headstock is maybe a little bit naked looking compared to the body, so perhaps I could have put some fur along that maple section so long as the long hair didn't interfere with the turning of the tuning machines. It's not the neatest job, frankly, especially all the seams around the edges, but it looks the part on video and that's all it really needs to do. None of that hair or fur gets in the way of any of the moving parts and it doesn't adversely affect the performance of the instrument. For a guitar with such fuzzy integument, it needs an equally fuzzy sound, and therefore I'll be running it through the Disorder from Dreadbox. This is a self-oscillating analog filter fuzz, a screaming, sweeping, gated fuzz that rips and tears your sound apart. It's an incredibly fun pedal to use if you want to get some crazy tones for guitar, bass, or even synth. There are some patch points on top here specifically for modular synth users. The filter is very expressive. You can busk this filter knob to get wah-wah sounds, and with the resonance all the way up, it'll drive into self-oscillation, adding some additional craziness. And all of that is paired with my tape echo setup in the following sound examples. If you want to have a go messing around with some guitar kits and make something perhaps a little more sensible than this, then you'll find links to the Harley Benton kits and the Thomann DIY kit challenge in the description below. And if you want to find more about the Dreadbox disorder, you'll also find a link down there for that as well. Don't forget to click all the buttons you're supposed to make this video viable to the ever-changing whims of the YouTube algorithm. That's all for now. Keep it loud and stay safe. Waka Waka!